Now, thousands are taking to the streets across France at the moment to protest against President Macron's reforms. They are part of 3-month-long transport strikes that have paralysed the country. OK, well, let's get the latest now from the heart of Paris with our correspondent there, Charlotte Dubinsky. Charlotte, we'd seen some violence earlier. Have things calmed down now?
Well, we're in the middle of what seems to be a standoff between some of the protesters and the police. Just take a look behind me, Andrew. You can see a row of the police vans, the gendarmerie, they're all out there in their riot gear, blocking off this particular route, and some of the protesters are taunting them now. They've also been using smoke flares to draw attention to what they're doing. They've lit fires to some of the bins, and they've also been throwing projectiles towards the police, glass bottles. We've also seen rocks thrown at the police, cans, anything that they can get their hands on. And then, of course, the police have been responding with tear gas, and we've also had the water bowsers, the water cannons out to try and calm the protesters down, to try and cool them down. That hasn't really worked, and as you can see, some protesters now who look to be part of the CGT union are actually sitting down as a sit-in protest. But just take a look behind me on the other side and you might sort of get a sense of just how many people have come here. This is the end of the route of the protest at Place d'Italie, and this is where thousands of people are now gathering to show their discontentment, not just with the reforms to the railway, which is the primary reason for this protest today, but also people unhappy with the Macron government, particularly the anti-capitalists, who are the ones that we have seen mainly engaged in those clashes with the police today. They've done everything. I mean, I've seen them use some new tactics today, including removing bottles directly from recycling banks to throw at the police. But that tear gas has been coming down and down. As you can see, this row of people now is getting larger as they're taking their protest to the police. What you can hear there sounds like a sound grenade going off, but there is plenty of tear gas that's been deployed today, and this standoff looks like it's going to continue for some time. As you can see, the police looking like they're making some sort of small tactical retreat now, but they are likely therefore to make a barrier elsewhere, as you see them doing now, to try and keep the protesters into one spot until they can either disperse them using tear gas and water cannons, or if they disperse naturally themselves. This protest was meant to be about the reforms of Macron's government. It's once again turned into a clash between the police and a small group of anti-capitalist protesters.
OK, Charlotte, thanks for the update. That was Charlotte Dubinsky there from the heart of Paris. Well, meanwhile, in the southern French city of Marseille, thousands have taken to the streets there in a Stop Macron march denouncing the French president's reforms. We can have a look at some of the latest pictures. It was organised by the left-wing party leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon.